Okay, let's do number 13 from the Unit 1-2 review sheet for the Unit 1-2 test. And we're going to find the value of beta in 0 to 360. This bracket means it includes 0, and this one means it doesn't include 360, which means if we land right on this angle that starts at 0 and ends at 360, we would use the 0 and not the 360. So that's that notation. Okay, so now my, I'm going to use my axis here. If cotangent of B equals 0, sorry, beta, then I have cotangent of beta is equal to, let's see, the inverse of tangent. Tangent's y over x. So cotangent is x over y. So we got our initial right here, and some point after beta on our terminal side, I'm not sure where that lands yet, where x, some point on that, x, y, and x over y equals 0 because of this. Well, the only way for a fraction to equal 0 is if the numerator equals 0. So now I know x equals 0. So if x equals 0, if it was actually here where I drew it, then that would have some kind of value, right? Something greater than 0, maybe 0.2, for example. But it doesn't. It's x equals 0. So I know that that terminal side must actually be along this y-axis. It could go all the way around and go down to the negative axis, but it has to have the point that's on that terminal side has the value of 0 something. Oops. I don't know if it's a negative y or a positive y yet, but I know x is 0. The only way for x to be 0 is if our point on the terminal side is on the y-axis, so the terminal side must be on the y-axis. Okay, next clue we're given is cosecant of beta equals 1. Cosecant of beta is the inverse of sine, which is y over r, so the inverse of that is r over y, and we're given that equals 1. And the only way for a fraction to equal 1 is if both the numerator and the denominator are the same number. I know r is positive because r is always positive, r is a distance. So that must mean that y is positive also. So we'll say y is positive. So if y is positive, it must be up here, because this would be a negative y, and that's no good. So that means our terminal side is indeed this guy right here, and that must mean that our beta is 90 degrees, because our terminal side is on the positive y-axis.